What's up, guys? Sean and welcome back to the iherng podcast, and this episode is brought to you by the Makeover Guys. For you guys who have just gotten your keys either for own stay or for investment, do check out the Makeover Guys website, or you can go to the Instagram page, or you can go and check out their brand new experience center in M Hub Kota Damansara. From there you can learn the different strategies applied when it comes to own stay and when it comes to investment. And for all my investment properties, I have been using them, including my latest home that's still renovating right now lah. So go check it out, and do remember to use the promo code I will just include in the link down below. And today let's read an email from Snake Egg. Hi iherng. I hope this message finds you well. I'm 31 years old with a stable job, incomes and savings and investment. I also have a certified OKU status due to a rare incurable genetic disorder that may lead to a total blindness in the near future. Sorry bro. I currently live with my parents in a small town and my commitments are relatively low. Aside from my mortgage, my income is decent, around 7,000, which includes my salary and rental income. I own two properties, one in Wangsa Maju, Kuala Lumpur, the one with 6 floors of stairs to the facility deck. Yeah, I know which one already. And another one in Batu Kawan from a well-known developer. The Wangsa Maju property generates a rather decent rental income, almost covering the mortgage, with just a 100 ringgit shortfall each month. The Batu Kawan property, with a name that translates to happy, is expected to be completed in Q3 2027, and I plan to rent it out. Here is my dilemma. I'm single and uncertain about my relationship status in the near future. My parents have advised me to slow down on property investments and focus more on enjoying life, especially given the uncertainty about my vision. However, I have the drive to continue investing to secure my financial future. One of the plans is to potentially use my property as a fund for future stem cell or gene therapy when the technology and pricing becomes more stable. Given my situation, do you think I should continue investing in more properties to ensure financial security, or should I listen to my parents' advice, slow down and enjoy the present moment as I already have more than I need? I would really appreciate your perspective on this. Thank you. Wow. So Snakehead, thank you very much for the email. Something to just point out first, right? How one categorize as your income, which is weird lah. So your income includes your salary and rental income. So the rental income there, I guess, is about 2,000 plus 2,005. So your income is about 4,000. There's nothing wrong. Just find it very peculiar because if I were to include all my rental income, right? Whoa. But thank you very much for sharing your story. Two properties, one in Wangsa Maju, one is in Batu Kawan. Both rather solid purchases. And now due to your genetic disorder, your parents kind of want you to appreciate what you have right now to slow down. What would you do? Or in this case, what would I do, right? To me, it depends on your appetite first. So in my understanding, there are two modes of workers, right? Or two modes of people. One is when people work or they invest for a better future. They work very, very hard so that they can stop working. You get what I mean? So they really work very hard. They do a lot of sales. They take a lot of risks with the mindset of reaching retirement as soon as possible. That's why they do what they do. Do they like what they do? Not really, but it pays the best. It gets the highest income. That's why they choose what they do. Right after they get their money, they will stop immediately on what they are doing. That's type number one. So in this case, these people will not work if they can, if they are given the choice. So in order to reach their goal, they keep putting themselves in the mode of desperation, because there's only two ways to achieve our goals. One is via desperation, where we are running away from something. We are running away from being poor, from debts, and all the negative stuff, right? Another way to achieve our goals is by motivation. We chase after the goal. So this falls under the same category. Once they reach the goal, they will stop already. The other type is we like the process. So the main reason why I work very hard and invest a lot, many may think that I'm doing this for financial freedom, I'm doing this for wealth building, for my next generation or whatsoever, right? Technically, yes, but deep down, it's more than that. At this current stage, another property in the portfolio is not going to mean a lot, right? If it's 1 out of 2, then it means a lot lah. At this current stage, I don't think I will be upset with one less property in my portfolio in my deathbed lah. That is something that I will definitely not regret. And all this while, I've been keeping my expenses really humble, really low, so it puts me in a position to take more risks on my creative process and business. So in other words, it means that regardless of all this money, all these investment plans, right, I would work equally as hard. If it's not media or YouTube, I would take the same approach on something else. So the question here is that which type are you? Are you really a person that where you really need a commitment, a financial commitment to push you through things? Because real estate loan has always been the best motivator for this. A lot of parents actually force their children to buy a house so that they will go and find a job in order to pay the installment every single month. That's their best motivation to go to work. If you don't work, there won't be money and you need to settle your own housing loan. And this is one of the most popular reasons why parents are encouraging their children to buy. Not so much that they are worried that in the future they cannot afford, but it's one of the ways that they know how in educating their next generation on the importance of wealth planning. Because if the children all just stay at home, don't need to pay rental, don't have to pay utility, then the entire 100% of salary is pure entertainment and lifestyle, right? They won't learn. So after getting the property, they have the money commitment, then suddenly they will feel the pinch to work harder. Eventually, it will also be a forced saving. I don't really encourage this, but it works lah. Eventually, what they have within the housing loan is always more than what they have in their savings account. That's why a lot of parents are getting their children into property investment. But for your case, you already have two, right? So now let's expect the worst case scenario. Since one is rented out, so it means you're staying with your parents, right? The second one in Batu Kawan, don't know yet, but in 2027, which is another 2.5 more years, the worst case scenario to prepare for this is to have first the emergency fund. How do I establish an emergency fund for my investment properties? To have the reserve of 6 months they are empty, which means if your Wangsa Maju unit that is 2,005, right? Let's say, let's round it up for some maintenance fee, right? 10,000. 10,000 reserve just in case the Wangsa Maju unit is not tenanted. So it's empty for 6 months, you can still live life healthily, normally, no issue. The second one then will be the Batu Kawan one. So I don't know how much you got it, but you do the same calculation. So it's going to be roughly about 20,000 just for the property reserve, because this is where I respect you a lot by just sharing on this disorder that you have. It means that you have a timeline, a potential expiry date for you to live life. And in this context, then I am fully agreeable with your parents. It's not like you are slacking. It's not like you are using this disorder as an excuse to get sympathy from people. You are still getting a job. You have 2 properties. Solid. You're just putting a lot of other audiences who's 100% fully capable wrong. You're really proving them wrong. And that is also why throughout the channel, I encourage all Malaysians to at least have 3 properties, right? So now you kind of have 2 already. Maybe if you want to go one more, right? Because the leap from the second one to the third one is going to be a little bit more challenging in terms of capital, in terms of knowledge and strategy. Because your third property, if you were to buy a residential one, you will need to cough out at least 20% in capital, because the third one, you're only entitled for 70% loan. If you will get a commercial one, it's 85%, then you will also need to cough out a significant amount. So again, in this context, I am agreeable with your parents. Instead of properties, right? Instead of properties, it's only one out of so many different assets that you can invest in. Yes, once we understand how to play the leverage game, right, it's rather addictive, and we feel this driving force to actually buy more once we get it. But the difference between me and you, then I am fully aware of this blessing I have. I'm most probably going to live until 90 to 100, provided I can control my mouth on Malaysian food, right? I am capturing the moment 100%, the blessing 100%, the opportunity 100% moving forward. Because a scenario that you must think about, right? What if you lose your vision in 2 years time? What will it affect then? So let's list down, right? Will it affect your income first? Like, does your job require your vision to kind of provide your services? If that happens, what will be your income source? And that will be crucial, because suddenly, like, these properties are self-sustaining, but what if they are not tenanted for 6 months time? Who's going to pay for that difference? Hence the importance of the emergency fund for the property first. Not so much on your emergency fund, for the property first. So that is something that I encourage every property investors to have as well. If you have 10 properties, it applies the same. So what if all of them are empty for 3 to 6 months time? It depends what's your risk appetite, but for me, 6 months time, if all of them are empty and I can still afford, and I'm very confident that they won't be empty for 6 months, so that's the worst case scenario for me, I am still all good. For you, you need to ensure that. Okay, so you need to clarify if your income still can, very good. Then will there be any compensation from the Tokso, from any OKU body or kebajikan? I am not familiar in this region, so I don't know. But will there be any compensation of source of income? That's very important, because the second thing, how are you going to live your life? Are you going to get in an active caretaker of you? Are you going to get in nurse for you? Are you getting any home assistants or maid at home to kind of clean up and take care of you, your makan, your baju, your whatever, right? All this kind of thing. And what if your parents also retire at the same time? Can they retire when finally you lose your vision? That is how I like to make consideration. Best case scenario, you will never lose your vision. Right? That's the best lah. May that happen for you. But on the worst case scenario, what if it happens in the short period of time, within these few years? Are you prepared for that? I know your parents love you a lot. That's why they kind of tell you, like, hey, you enjoy life first lah. Don't go too crazy, because eventually a lot of people invest in property is for the future. And they are right. There's no fun at all. There's no short-term benefit at all when we invest in properties today. Unless you buy via bulk purchases, you will somewhat get the instant amount of financing in terms of cash, right? They call it cashback lah. That will help somewhat pay off their bad debt, their credit card debt, and things like that. Besides that, it's for the long game. And I encourage that for many youngsters, right? This delayed gratification process is good. But in your case, I would suggest to have a balance between. This also kind of triggers me a little bit. I was always this outcast ever since graduating SPM. Like, everyone else in my class was reading about the subject that we are studying, the subject that we are listening. For example, in my architectural class, right? People are reading design magazines, design books by Harao Ando or Le Corbusier, their design philosophy. I am reading money matters. Personal finance, learning about how loan works, how stock market work, how all these financial things work. Maybe I go to the wrong course lah. And when I start investing stocks, my peers were playing with their cars. When I start buying properties, people were getting married. Then when I was developing my career, people were having kids already. It's all about choices, not right, not wrong. But what I'm trying to say is, there are moments in those times when a group of friends ajak me to go for a vacation. I did not go because I chose to focus on the business, focus on the investment, and now that property is paying me about 2,000 to 3,000 ringgit every month in terms of rental. But whenever the friends, that group of friends, share about memories or moments of that particular trip during our gathering sessions, I am not part of it lah. It's very easy to then say, hey, now you can go to the trip again and again, and you can spend your entire 6 months there also, never mind. But it's going to be different. The moment of you traveling when you are like 21 versus now when you are like 30 plus, right? The entire consideration, the entire experience will be very different. So it's a moment missed out for me. All I'm trying to say is, it's a choice that you need to make. Maybe you don't even need to make the choice, because you can go in a balanced format. Now your investment is all good, right? Your properties are self-sustaining. You need to just save up some money for the interest payment every month for the Penang property. The rest, you can start investing in other things like stock market, crypto, Pokemon, whatever that you have studied lah, right? Or you can just put it into a somewhat more secure like FD, EPF, whatsoever. That is also forms of investment. Then this format of investment gives you way higher flexibility. Whenever you need money, there's urgent need of money, this can be easily reachable. And I believe that you have developed a sense of discipline because you buy properties already. And to momentarily just stay away from property doesn't mean quitting it. Just think of this period, right, as a time to kind of just save up your money for renovation of your Penang properties. You will need about like 30 to 40,000 for renovation before it gets rent out. Okay, so now, right, we talk about the reserve fund for investment that you need is about 20,000 for your Monster Maju property. You will need another 20,000 for your Penang property. You will need another 40,000 for renovation, because 2 years from now, I think that's going to be the budget for a very simple makeover. It's crazy lah now, construction costs. So in total, that will be 80,000 already. Okay, so within these few years time, may I suggest to kind of just stop your property investment for a while, meaning to not commit into another one until your Penang one is rented out. Because practically speaking, you cannot qualify for more loan anyway. You are not going to qualify for more loan unless your Penang unit get rented out. Eventually, you will need to wait as well. So might as well just use this time to save up the bullets for renovation and reserve, then have that discipline only to buy another one after the unit is rented out for the Penang unit. Then you need to wait for 6 months with a tenancy agreement with a SPA, with 6 months time of transactions within the bank account to show proof of the rental transactions. Then only you can use that, declare as income to qualify for your next loan for your third property. At the same time, use this period to kind of experience life with your parents lah, because I guess they are also very worried for you. This is how they show love to you. And something to also think about, our parents are not young anymore lah. Right? They are not going to have the same amount of vitality, patience, and conscience across time. Sometimes for hustlers, right, we are always these gung-ho personalities, right, trying to achieve as much as we can, strive as much as we could, but we sometimes forget the little things. And the very obvious things is time waits for nobody. That's why we maximize and leverage all the way, correct? But our parents are not getting any younger. So as we talk about real estate, land is scarce, opportunity is scarce. That's why we capture moments with our parents are also scarce. So this is something to also really appreciate, and this is something that I will encourage everybody to really not miss this, because in the end of the day, in our bed, right, in our bed when we lie down, right, what are we most concerned of? Are we going to be pissed off for not buying another property that's going to make like 50%? Or we didn't buy that stock right before the bull run, that's why we lost out on money to be made? Or we just missed out the birthday with our mom, or missed out that vacation trip with our family? Up to you. Right? Again, if you're the pure hustler, you have no passion for family matters, you do you. I don't judge, right? Because I was once that person, going berserk, going crazy. And in your 20s, I would strongly suggest that, right? In your 20s, you just go all the way, right? All the way. Until you reach a certain level of stability, almost abundance, then I would suggest to dial down the gears a little bit, spend more times to fill up the other parts of our soul. And that is what I would strongly encourage you to do. Okay, so I guess this is a rather direct question, a rather direct answer, but it means a lot. We are just so used to live life expecting that these will never end, these are all constant. But in reality, these are the only windows of opportunities that we get. Not so much on investment, but to live. And thank you very much, Snake Egg, for reminding me that there will be an expiry date to all this life experience. So life is short. During the 20s, early 30s, right? Work very hard. And this is something that I've thought through last week. Like, we need to live beyond material needs. Enough with the big cars, big house, fancy alphabets all around your shirt and apparels. Those should only come when you have achieved the crucial three things. Freedom, right? Financial freedom, time freedom, and life freedom. It means that you wake up, you can do whatever you want without looking into the price, without seeking any approvals from someone above you or below you. You practically can just spend the time doing whatever you like with your loved ones. Freedom. Second thing will be peace. Means there won't be any bad person or your enemies trying to poison you, trying to do bad things or harm you and your family members. So to live life in peace by doing good, by spreading positivity all the time. Second thing. Third thing then will be health, so that we can extend this beautiful life in freedom and peace as long as possible. That also enhances the moments that we create with our loved ones. Imagine now I can run around, right? I can take economy class to the vacation instead of taking first class in a wheelchair. Yeah. After you achieve all this, then you still have a lot of money, then you go for the alphabets around your apparels lah. That one, very good. And I guess that's all for today. Thank you very much, Snake Egg. That will be my approach, which is to use this period of waiting until your Penang property is completed to save up a lot of money for two reasons. One is the reserve for your property investment, and then the renovation for the new property. The second thing, then if you have abundance, only you get to choose whether you want to invest in the third one. At the same time, then do think about the worst case scenario. What if the worst case really happened in 2 to 3 years time? What would be your source of income? How much money do you need in order to sustain your lifestyle or to just support yourself and the family? And while doing that, enjoy life lah. Go create moments with your loved ones, and I wish you all the best. Right? Thank you very much for sharing your story. And for those who still have any questions regarding real estate, do just email me at taniherng@gmail.com, or you can just DM me on Instagram iherng, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao.